this is good. Let's see. Let's get everything set up. Let's tweet it out now. Conda-press, conda-press. Okay, and let's go over to Twitch to get everything set up. I know, not my most elegant stream so far. Channel. Yeah. No, we want to do. Pop this out for sure. How do you do that? Chat settings. Pop out. Creator dashboard maybe? Yeah, this is where we probably want. So I'll pop that out. And then pop out chat. Okay, sounds good. Okay, no one's viewing though yet, so let's pin these things. Woohoo! One viewer. So many windows, so little time. I'm glad you're at least signed in. Can you hear me okay, Lord Asriel? Just respond in the chat, I guess. Oop. I need to look at that. Okay, perfect, perfect. I've got a totally new setup in my office here, so so everything's new as of 2 hours ago, and I am just trying to figure it out. So, okay, let's see. Oh no, everything, like literally everything. But I think this is a better. And can you see the text on my screen? Is it like legible? Oh, good, cool. More people are here. Awesome. More for the heckling. Sounds kind of quiet. Okay. Interesting. I can do that. Let's see. Input. That should be a little better. And then, yeah, the new setup. I think the only thing I can do other than this is actually like move the microphone. And now the microphone is in front of my keyboard, which will be impossible. Okay. So many things. I guess I can move the microphone behind my keyboard maybe. And then it's in front of my screen. Anyways, all right, you guys don't need to deal with this. Yeah, I've gone plaid. Thanks, Lord Asriel. Okay, well, welcome to the new setup. So today, I want to work on conda-press. So there's this fun issue over here. So Sylvain was trying to use conda-press to package Zeus Python, or he was complaining about relocation issues, which are totally legitimate, which you can read about in the actual issue. But there's one specific package that he's interested in, which is this Zeus Python 1. And so, yeah, so this, in trying to actually run conda-press on this, it revealed a pretty big issue. So I thought we would go ahead and tackle that. I had started tackling it yesterday, but then ended up, yeah, not getting anywhere close to done with it. So, okay, so let's see what happened, or let's see what it actually does in the current situation. And if you have any questions on conda-press or anything, just like ping me in the chat and let me know what you think, or if you want me to do something totally different because you're bored, that is also fine. conda-press. Let's pull up the latest version. Should probably have a window where we just install it, but oops. Let's make that tiny. You don't really need to see this. Install desk dot, and then we'll cd into conda-press in our main window here. Okay, looks good. Okay, so how do we do? What is conda-press? Are our children? Is our children's learning? So let's just rm-r start here. So the way we'll run this, I believe, maybe we were testing this. We had been testing this. Yeah, Zeus Python. I actually think it's at 5.1 now. So we're going to try to create a fat wheel. So fat wheels are wheels that contain all of their dependencies. We're going to skip Python so that it doesn't include Python or any of the Python dependencies. And we're going to do this for Linux. So, oops, I need to be in the conda-press environment that I've created. Sorry. Okay. Oh, and I need to install some things because, you know, like Word. There's probably a bunch of stuff that I've forgotten to install on this machine since I've like changed my machines and everything. And let's install virtual and then pip just to make sure. Yeah, so if you have any questions, yeah, just hop on. Okay, great, that was fast. Probably because everything is installed. All those things are installed at base anyway, so let's go ahead and run this again. Requests. I really should have a requirements file for this or something. Or if I remain too quiet, also let me know. What? Oh yeah, so many things. Okay, well, hopefully that's everything. Yeah, it seems to be everything. Okay, so so this is going through. It's running the solve on Zeus Python. It's gonna grab all the packages in dependency order, or like, you know, linear dependency order, and build like a little fat wheel for this thing. And then I'll show you what happens. So this is just on the normal master version. All right, so we've created this wheel. You can see it, it's in our temp directory there. So let's go ahead and open up. Whoops, yep. Open up another file here. So let's go into temp and let's actually go into bash. I'm sorry. And we'll create a virtual environment. Oops. Apparently I have never done that on this machine. Or no, maybe I've only done it in the other one. So I think it's like, let's just call it test env. What? Oh yeah, oops, I need to be into, sorry. So I need to go into, activate this environment again. Let's do this in conch. Yeah, here we are. So I have done this. Okay. So now we have a little virtual environment in this directory. And now we'll go into bash and we'll source tempenv bin activate. So now we're in this thing. Okay. So you can install a wheel directly from the file here. So we're just going to try to install it. Oops. Sorry. this should be pip install, and what we'll see is we get this error message on install that like this requirement can't be met, even though if we go back to our actual building of the wheel, we go way back up to the top, this requirement was actually put into this wheel in the first place. So the cool thing about wheels is that, or one of the cool things about wheels that's helpful in this process is that they are just zip files. So we're gonna go into our downloads, into T, and then we're just gonna unzip this file right here, and we can see what's going on. Ooh, no, don't do that, no. Okay. Unzip, and then this is in temp, and then it's the Zeus Python wheel. So what you can see in this directory is that because we merged a bunch of wheels, there's actually a bunch of dist info files, which is, or a bunch of dist info directories, and many of them include metadata files. And a lot of those metadata files include requirements. So if we take a look at like, I think this one's good. Actually, this one probably doesn't have any requirements. Libsodium definitely does. So let's check that out. So yeah, you can see that it requires this libgcc_ng, even though libgcc_ng that meets that requirement is actually inside of this wheel already. Okay, that kind of sucks. So even though this is Zeus Python and we should only care about the Zeus Python dist info, pip is actually trying to like go through and read all the dist info files for everything, or all the metadata files for everything, and then pull out all of the requirements, which is pretty much not what we want here. So that's the problem statement. We're going to avoid that, or my first thought to avoiding that was just like, don't include those don't include those metadata and wheel files. But that did not work. So I'll show you that that doesn't work here. Right, so let's see. So if we do, I believe I have another branch here, so get branch, what's the branch? I think it's called no meta, yeah. So let's do get checkout dash no meta. Right, and then if you want to see what this is compared to master, yeah, no, master. Did I not push it up? No. Oh, I know. I did the wrong checkout. I'm sorry. How's everybody doing today, actually? Yeah. How are folks? A+. Well, you got up early, so that's great. And origin no meta. Tony, what is that? Is that a pig? A turtle? I can't. What the? I can't see that emoji there. What's going on? Talk to me, Tony. Oh, and it's Aaron. All my friends. A tortie. You folks. Okay, so this is like pretty much just skipping wheel and metadata file. It's a cooter, that's right. Long-eared cooter or something. Getting so trolled right now. It's great. Okay, so let's go ahead and install this. And if we go ahead and install that, let's remove this Zeus Python wheel and then rebuild it. And then we'll try to reinstall it. So. Yeah, I feel like I need I don't know, some sort of music to play during this. It doesn't take that long though. Okay, so there, this is a slightly different file. It's here now. Let's try to pip install it one more time. And you'll see, aha, you can't install it because the 0mq distinfo file, which contains no metadata. All right, so this is where we are right now. And actually, I'd love to take a survey. So like, I'll just unzip this right now just to show you what's going on here. But like, what should we do in this case? Like, what would make sense? I think there's a couple of options. Let's just look at the 0mq distinfo. So like, it's got this record file. It shouldn't have that record file. Why does it have that? That should also not be there. Yeah, that really shouldn't be there. Okay, well, let's add that to the things we're gonna remove. So let's do, no, not that file. This is in wheel, I think, right down at the bottom. Yeah, we shouldn't be keeping record files around. Those got rewritten. That's good to know. Who would use conda-press? It's a great question. So people who use would use conda-press are people who don't want to build wheels. No. Like, yeah. So these are that's a better question. So these are people who want to build wheels and want to make it easy. So it's mostly developers / maintainers who are going to be who would use this, right? So the idea is it's actually really, really difficult to create fat wheels. So just some terminology, a fat wheel is one that contains all of its non-Python dependencies. So like, yeah, I'll get to the bots in a moment, Azrael. Nice octopus. This is an eldritch horror. I will concede that. So basically, like, say you depend on 0mq, or say you lib 0mq, or say you depend on, like, some other compiled library like Boost or something. If you want to create a wheel for that, you have to go and put all of those libraries into your wheel somewhere, and then make sure that they're linked properly, and make sure that they play with everything else together properly. And this can be a real pain even on Linux, let alone on things like Mac or Windows, right? So like, if you depend on Qt or something, it's like a huge pain to build a wheel for that. And so the idea is, like, conda-forge has already done all of the difficult work of compiling all of these libraries. What if you could just build wheels out of all of that hard work? And they would all be consistent because they all work together on conda-forge just fine. And so ultimately the goal here is to basically, like, get conda-smithy and conda-forge to be able to build wheels from the conda packages it builds, and then push those back up to PyPI. So like, you'll have conda-forge driving the wheels that appear on PyPI. I mean, obviously there are bugs still and issues, but like, for a lot of things, it just already works. And that's like pretty sweet. And so, like, if you want to like make wheels for the whole ecosystem, like this is a mechanism for doing that. Because all the hard work of building has a different like ecosystem and a community around it. Okay, so we just rebuilt this wheel. Let's see if we can. No. No. I forgot where I was. I think did I just install it? You distracted me with a good question, Tony. Is this real life? Is this just some fans I see? Alright, so now let's pip install this. Yeah. Oh, wow, it actually installed it when I removed record. That's interesting. But it's still doing this weird thing. Like requirement already satisfied. Parse it. Okay. That's interesting. What are we all waiting for? This is exactly how I wanted my Twitch chat to end up. Just a series of people making really bad jokes at me, interspersed with occasional serious questions. What are you using Zeus for? I'm just using Zeus as a. Earlier in the chat, I posted this issue, which I can post again, where this is just something where where Sylvan wants to make a wheel or from the conda package. It doesn't have a way to do that, so it's just a representative package that demonstrated this bug that we encountered. What is Zeus? Aaron, there is a whole open source directions on that. But basically it's a C++ implementation of the Jupyter protocol. Is that right? Am I remembering that correctly? I don't know. It's like Sylvan's particular form of, let's say, intrepid software development. I'm not one to like throw any stones or blame or anything. Okay, so let's look at the contents here. Why did it work when the record went down? Because like the thing that we want to keep in these is we want to keep the license files. It's like, so libsodium has license. It's just the records. I think Zeus Python depends on Jedi. I don't think Zeus itself depends on Jedi. Or like has a Jedi dependency. I don't know. You can open an issue for Zeus. I believe in you, Aaron. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So these license files actually exist, and the wheel installed. Oh my God, that went so much easier than I thought it was going to. Okay. So, wow. What if I just pull request this? You know, it works. Like, why not? You know what I'm saying? If anyone objects, then that's their business. Okay, so first we need news, of course. So we'll call this no meta .md. So we'll say fixed. I guess we'll say removed. What was it? Wheel metadata and record files from that wheels. Cd dot. Yep, add dot. Removed files from the wheels so that they are installable. Marcello actually has been doing a ton of work on this, so we all should thank him as well, because he's been doing a lot of stuff on this that I haven't gotten around to, and like generally making things better. So so hopefully we'll ping him in the issue or in the PR, and then hopefully he'll review it and add and merge it eventually. So, oh, and I didn't actually add a test for any of this. I probably should do that, huh? Where is? There. Yeah, I guess this is like a pretty important use case. So let's go and add a test. But if anyone wants me to work on anything else, happy to do that, or happy to just futz around on conch, of which there are many. On the at suggestions? I think your name is on the at suggestions because you're a member of Regrow. And you probably have push rights into this repo if you really wanted. Bot things? You're the bot things expert. What do you want me to do bot-wise? But first, let's add some tests. Slashes. Guys aren't making any sense right now. That's okay, I guess. Tests. It's just like add a stupid little test that tests this version. So test. So I thought there was some fat tests somewhere around here. Wasn't Python. Is it XZ train? Where did this go? Oh, I think it's called merge in the code. It's not called fat. Wait, what? Oh no, it's called fatten. Okay. So test UV loop is one. How does this work build off of some prior things you have done in other projects? Tony, you're asking so many great questions today. It's really lovely, actually. So this work builds off of a few other things. I would say it's actually kind of a nice merger of a bunch of different projects. So one thing that you'll notice actually in this, if I ls the conda-press repo, is that this is a conch project by and large. So a lot of this code is conch code, and so conch is this programming language that I started. That's the super, like it's a superset of Python and other shell languages, for those of you who don't know or who are watching later. And then the other thing that this works on is, or this is based off of implicitly, is conda-forge, which is another thing I was helped start and organize around initially, and have done a ton of work on since then. So really it's about leveraging, conda-forge is really about leveraging the community to tackle the incredibly difficult problem of packaging the world, and what that means. And so, yeah, check both of those out. And this project, so conda-press. Oops, oh no, I lost my chat, but I'll get it back. So this project or conda-press really is about. It's more of a social project in many ways, where it's, ooh, I guess I lost my chat stream, that kind of sucks. It is trying to bridge the gap between sort of people who really love wheels, of which there are many of them, and people who have a really difficult time. Or so sort of there's the pip crowd, is one way to think about it, and then there's the conda crowd. On the other hand, and I don't like the way that those two communities have historically interacted. I think it's been pretty negative. There's a bunch of different reasons for that. We don't need to go into why or who or any of that, but this is an attempt, sort of a good faith attempt on my part to help bridge those two groups a little better, and to say like, you know, like we can play together nicely, and this is one way how. And then the kind of the thing that I really like about it, because I'm writing it, is that like in this direction, if you adopt this method, you still need like conda is a key part of this, right? Like to get your wheels, you still have to have a conda package, and so it sort of drives the building of conda packages that way. And I think there's been a lot of clarity that came out at the last PyCon, and a lot of people had more positive discussion. So I think we're heading in a good direction, and this is like just another tool to help reinforce those connections. So if conda forges it, what a big medal in the future. Yeah, thank you, Tony.
Who dark mode?
What? Walkability. But yeah, it seems to be working. Like most of the PyPA people, the Python Packaging Authority people, are like totally on board with this method. It just takes some work and takes some time, and I think I did a bunch of the hard stuff, and now it's about doing integrations and making sure it works everywhere and that kind of stuff. So, which is also hard work, but you know, not something I needed to do alone either. So, Zeus Python. So let's test Zeus Python here. What was it? Zeus. I think it's Zeus Python. It was 0.5.1, or is it 50.1? What was I running? Oh, it's 5.1. Yeah, Zeus Python 5.1. Okay. So this will be a test. Skip Python, true. Okay. I'm using Kitty here, and like the fact that my text editor doesn't return the screen in Kitty is really annoying. I should have an issue, but I have been too lazy to do so. I can try other packages if you want in conda-press right now, and we can see how badly they fail. So. How do you all feel? That's a great question. I should have you around all the time, Tony. Oh no, I misspelled Zeus. Damn it. You guys are supposed to be catching me on this stuff. Confused flex. Yeah. Wheels are on more than bicycles. Walkability, is that what you're getting at here? Okay. And let's just tie this back to the actual issue, I think. I don't know, it's probably a better question to ask Aaron how he feels about wheels. If he feels about wheels at all. So I'm not sure this actually works even now that it's installed. but it, no, that's true. So yeah, so like this project makes it really easy to build a wheel that depends on OpenCV. I know, I'm just trolling you, Aaron. I don't have to ask you that. You don't have to respond. Come into my Twitch stream. No, I'm joking. About his feelings, yeah, just maybe that's what this should be. This should be like a open source like group therapy session hour. You know, as many technical bits as needed. I'd like happily host that too if folks want to do that at some point. Anyone? No, not a good idea. Bad idea. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that PR failed. Delays. Yeah, I know there are delays. It sucks. I wish it was faster. I'm not entirely sure why it's not faster, but I guess part of it is network latency. Like you can compute network latency of even like a millisecond or 10 milliseconds or something. Yeah, that's right. My privacy is being super protected right now. Okay, but is there something y'all want to see me dive into? There's another issue here for a different package that was failing. I kind of wonder if it works now. So this was Pi-G object wheel, which is not a great package. I mean, it's a great package. People use it all the time, whether they know it or not. But like, yeah, I don't know. I guess we can. Oh, and they're doing it on Windows. Oh no. Well, I'm not going to do that. I went to see the audio tools you made for open source directions. Oh, yeah. I could show you guys that. I am here to please, after all. So yeah, let's take a look at that. Okay, so I think I'm gonna more or less close down a lot of the stuff. So yeah, you're a great wingman, Tony. Gotta get you on the stream at some point. I could what do you call it? Google Hangouts you went. Okay, so as you probably know, I host open source directions. What you probably don't know, yeah, just OBS, OBS is amazing, by the way. I love OBS. Yeah. Yeah. So, wait, do you want me to join you? Do you want me to? Oh, here, I'll invite you. This will be fun. How do I think I have you on this. I really need to get my other screen here. Hopefully you're signed in. I think this is gonna be pretty fun. Now I think I have to add my desktop audio so that viewers can see it. Hey, Tony. Oh no,
hey.
I can't
Hey,
hear.
I gotta get you off of the TV, man.
That's fine. You do you, dude.
Cool, man.
Yeah, let this be a lesson to the rest of the viewers. If you ask good questions, you get invited on the stream. So, yeah, let's see. So, okay, yeah. So as most of you know, I do the. I also actually so for open source directions, which is this webinar series that got canceled today. There is. So I also do all the audio and video editing for that, which is pretty annoying. Or it can be pretty annoying. So I built a lot of tools to get like 80% of the way there. So for the podcasting and everything. So none of this is like really open source per se, but I don't think there's it's not a problem to show all of you. So this is a cool little project. So see, what is this? Okay, well I'll just describe how it is. So so there's an open source directions repo that has a bunch of this stuff. Oh no, this is not the right repo. Which one is it? Is this right? Where does all this stuff go? I'm forgetting now. It must be open source directions, but maybe it's not on the GH pages branch. Yeah, check out.
So what were some of the problems that you were trying to solve when you were writing this?
Yeah, so actually let me turn up the volume here so I can hear you better. Yeah, so the problems are whenever you do audio editing, or good audio editing, you want to remove noise, you want to remove ums and likes, and you want to remove dead space in between when people are talking. And all of that is really, 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 really tedious when you're doing it manually in like Audacity or one of these other programs. And so the idea here, open source. The idea here, oh no, there isn't what is going on? Maybe I should pull. Oh, there we are. Yeah, I just haven't pulled. So the idea here is to build some tooling that does all of those things automatically for you. And so that's basically what I did. It uses a bunch of different pieces. So I wrote this thing called, let's look at the requirements here. Oh, no. So yeah, it uses Reaver, and then I think it uses this tool called umdone to remove ums and other things. And then there's this little, there's a couple little scripts that we use we use Reaver to do the releases. So Reaver is this release management tool, and it goes and runs umdone and builds a new RSS feed, pushes those things up, edits all the audio, pushes those up to the various different, I think we're using DigitalOcean. And so I think what you're actually asking about is umdone. So
I found a cool notebook about it.
Yeah, so I wrote, it used to be open source, and I kind of clawed it back because I added a bunch of stuff that's more specific and to what we're doing, potentially more specific. And QuantSite was effectively paying me to do it, even though it saves them money in the long run because I don't have to sit there and manually edit all these stupid things, and no one has to. So what is it?
So it looks like there's some cool math in here too, right? Like you're doing some waveform transformations and plotting and stuff like that.
Yeah, so there was. So I initially had written, some very basic speech recognition software, and some of that still lives on in here if you want to use it. But it's pretty. I would say it's not. That didn't work as well as I had hoped, mostly because the database that I had was not big enough, right?
Ah,
So like people, yeah, deep learning, that's right. Yeah. So you need to have a lot of people saying to be able to filter out ums. And it turns out you can just pay Google or Amazon to do that for you at like for almost no money. And so it's easier to send your audio file to Amazon and have them give you a transcript than it is to remove the ums yourself. Which is sad in many ways that there isn't like an open source speech recognition tool that's good enough for this use case. I'd be very interested if there was one, but at the moment there kind of isn't, which sucks. But basically what this does is there's a few different what we'll call filters. So like data comes in and then it gets, you can do a bunch of different things to it, like reducing noise, so there's a reduce noise filter. And this is just, there's this audio object that we have that is, a lot of the stuff is based on librosa. So librosa is like just an awesome tool for audio editing. And so we just run it through the librosa audio remover. We have librosa detect silent intervals, and then we slice those out, using just like kind of NumPy indexing. Like Boolean indexing. We have the ability to like crossfade in and out, and this uses this pretty simple crossfade algorithm. So it turns out that like sound is exponential, and so you need to use this like log-based tool for something that sounds like an even crossfade is actually in fact a power law. So that's cool. So those are the basic ones. So you can have like audio streams fade in and out of each other as you want. And then there's a remove ums filter. Or this I think was the bad old one. And then there's some AWS version of this around here. Oh, well, yeah. So basically how this works is we create a bunch of different command line tools that you can see implemented here that then do the different operations and that you want to do. And so, and then you can just filter out, like basically you can create a pipeline of commands that then takes in an audio file and dumps it out. So, and does all the operations you want and then dumps it out at the end. So if we want to look at what that looks like, we can go back to open source directions. And let me know if you have questions or anything on this, Tony, or anybody else.
Do you have some sounds you could play for us that maybe could compare some things?
I do. Let me go grab them.
Your jazz at the command line is impressive.
It's all, I can barely type, so this is all just my tooling helping me. Okay, so here's an example, right? So like we create here's how it works. So if we wanted to edit something, we'll load in the data. So note that we're loading from a URL, and that'll pull this MP3 down. So we're storing this on DigitalOcean as a raw file. So this is basically exactly the raw file, the MP3 version of the webinar that goes onto YouTube.
Neat.
And then if that succeeds, we remove the silences. And you can set a parameter here to like what counts as a silence, like how long it should be before you do a silence. So this is 0.2 seconds. We then have AWS transcribe everything. So we get a transcription somewhere. And then we have another command that looks at that transcription, filters out all the bad words, which you can set, but there's a default list. And then we have it save out as both in OGG format and M4A format.
So I could have been cursing all this time and it wouldn't.
I mean, so curse words we don't remove. Maybe that's an oversight, but yeah. So actually, this is a good question. So why don't we maybe try to go? And if someone wants to confirm that they can hear Tony, you should be able to on the chat. So let's go to the Digital Oceans thing. So this is kind of a nothing too secret here in it's just open source direction stuff. So I'm going to download, because I don't think I've done this in a while on this machine. Nor I kind of switched to doing this on my laptop actually. But let's open. Is there? No, there's none of these here. So let's we'll look at the podcast.
XO is quite possibly one of my favorite like CLI names. It's just something to open up something that's just like hugs and kisses.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. It's one of my faves too, obviously. Okay, well let's look at one of the more recent ones. So let's see. We'll download. Do we even need to download? Can we play it from here? We probably can play it from here. So this is the raw version. Obviously,
hello, the internet, and welcome to Open Source Directions, hosted by Quantsite.
Wow, that's a cool
webinar
preview.
That brings you all of the news about the future of your favorite open source projects. My name is Anthony Skopatz, your host for Open Source Directions.
Wow, that was bad.
Co-hosting with me today is Carol.
Okay.
Hi, listeners. I'm
so we
Carol
noticed
Lilly.
a pause
I'm
there.
an active.
And then let's listen to the OGG version.
Hello, the internet, and welcome
muted.
to Open Source Directions, hosted by Quantsite, the webinar that brings you all of the news about the future of your favorite open source projects. My name is Anthony Skopatz, your host for Open Source Directions. Co-hosting with me today is Carol.
Hi, listeners. I'm Carol Lilly. I'm an active member.
Carol started almost immediately, right? Like the Carol she didn't wait. There was that in real life, there was a pause of a couple of seconds, but umdone went and removed that. So that's a pretty good example of what the code is doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Could you hear that, Tony, or no?
No, I couldn't, but I'm just trying to be a real good wingman.
Yeah. Yeah. I can. Yeah. So I think the viewers could hear it. But
one of the next time we do this, you're gonna have to share your screen for me because I get a delay.
Yeah.
So I'm like making comments like I don't know if they're in the future or in the past.
That's a good. So David asks about what happens with the video. Is it cut also? No. So right now I have to manually cut the video. We do the same thing every time. So I've thought about using FFmpeg and some other tools to do that, but it hasn't happened yet. And you can't cut the video necessarily in the same way because there are like real long pauses in videos that are audio pauses in videos that make sense because someone's doing something during a demo. But it would be nice to like add the intro sound and the title slides and all that stuff automatically. I just haven't gotten around to it. But yeah, it would be cool.
Do these technologies record timestamps and stuff?
You mean the like transcription services?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's a great question. So, the video podcast. No, the video version is edited by me manually, but not a lot, Aaron. And then the audio version is algorithmically edited.
Cool.
So the question is like, do you on these transcriptions? I don't have one on this laptop, unfortunately, but like you actually do end up. You still have the ums in the video. And no, we're not resyncing. Google and Amazon actually have very different versions of this. So say you have 30 seconds in which a single word is uttered, okay? 30, and it's silent otherwise. And you say, I want to know when a word was uttered. Google would have bounds of 0 to 30 seconds and just tell you that the word occurred sometime in that time period.
Nice.
Amazon will actually tell you with, I think, like millisecond accuracy or something like that. The word started at second 15 and ended at second 15.2. And so that's kind of the thing that's more useful for us, actually, is that editing, or is the knowing when the words, knowing when the actual words occur. And Amazon's API is actually even better. Like they can, I haven't played around with this a lot, but they can do multi-speaker detection. So they can give you a transcript that like has the different speakers. Some folks want a written transcript of the episodes because they find it easier to deal with than like trying to watch the episode. And I think that's the way to do it, is just like basically manually pump out that, and then you make a reaver activity for it and you push it up to the website and it's done.
It's really interesting how much easier the transcription services are from voice than they are from text, right? Because of just the way that your mouth works and stuff like that. Like there's less combinations of phonemes, basically. The closed captioning's gotten so good.
Yeah, it's true. It is pretty crazy how good they've gotten. Yeah. So, any other questions, either from you, Tony, or the peanut gallery?
I'm done.
You're done. Nice. Coming in there for the kill. Yeah, we're about at the hour, so I think we'll just give it a couple moments for people to actually chime in if they want to hear about anything, or if next time we do this, you want me to fool around with something, or make a suggestion, please. Like, I would like to see an intro of Aaron sitting in a very comfortable chair talking about his feelings for something for XX minutes. Yeah, right. You like have the little snifter and the sweater and the leather shoulder pads and everything. Yeah, I think that would be great, but that's up to Aaron. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining. This was a lot of fun. So, all right. Ciao.
See you, Anthony. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, my pleasure.